about 2 months after I had our second baby, and I came back into the business and it just had kind of stalled. We still had our great annual recurring revenue, so we still had money coming in the door, but it wasn't growing anymore. And for the first few months, it was like, okay, well, we've both been distracted. We've been away from the business. Let's try to get things back on track. And then a year passed and we were still in that same position. We were losing customers the same amount as we were bringing on. So we were just kind of floating. It wasn't as fun anymore. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
the going up the roller coaster is super fun.
Yeah. It was so fun. And then it stopped and it became harder and it felt like we were kind of pushing a boulder up a hill. And I want to be clear, like the business was still super healthy and very profitable and it was a great little business. But we just like the things we were doing weren't working anymore. And the volume of customers we were getting just wasn't what it used to be. And we felt like there was a shift happening in the software space and in the health and wellness space. And we felt it. And I remember that summer after we had our second baby, Chris and I kind of sat down and were like, what do we do to get through this? So we launched a new feature that we thought could help. It didn't. We kept doing a lot of the same things that helped us grow in the past and they weren't working anymore. So we did that for 2 years, just kept trying to push through it. And I will never forget the moment where I just turned to Chris and I just said, it's time. Like, I don't think we can keep growing this business with this team. I don't care to grow a bigger team. I don't have the energy to put in what I think needs to be put into this to keep growing it and make those pivots with the business that I think need to be made. Let's sell. And he just is like, okay, no argument whatsoever. He was like, okay. And we got to work like right away.
I just want to point out, because I think this is something missed over a lot, is that when a woman family is created, has babies, there's a lot around how hard the first year is. And the first year problems, health aside, if you have a healthy baby and no surprises or unexpected things outside the ordinary, their problems, I think, are fairly simple to solve. But I think that when they get older, like 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, they require a tremendous amount of a different kind of energy. And the problems are not as easy to solve. You can't just hire someone to hold your baby lovingly, which you can do with an infant, and it's real. And I felt it too. And, the first 6 months were hard, but it was like year 2, year 3 of my child's life was really when I was like out of juice entirely.
Yeah. I read somewhere parent is not a noun, it's a verb. And I think that's so true. And that's when it kind of hits you around that age of 3 to 4 to 5 is when your child is misbehaving or isn't doing something like that reflects on you as a parent. And it takes so much time and energy to be a great parent and to raise healthy, happy, intelligent children who can think critically. And you just can't outsource that. And that's on you.
Yeah. So you said to your husband, I'm done. We're done. Let's sell. And he's like, great, let's do that.
Yeah. So we just started. I got really into a podcast called Built to Sell. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No, I think there's a book. I think there was a book. I have the book. I bought the book. I read the book. I'm like, I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah. I also read the book and it kind of outlines different paths, like hire an investment banker to help you run a process to sell the business.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so us being the naive couple we're just like, we're going to go at this alone. We're not going to hire anybody. We're going to keep every dime that we sell this for. We're not giving, because it was like up to 15% or something like that, that you were going to have to pay somebody to sell it for you and, drum up the interest. So we sat down and we made a list of maybe 20 companies that might be a strategic acquisition. And I started reaching out. I got a hold of people on LinkedIn and, some people I talked to I had been connected with, started having a lot of conversations. And that was in October 2022 when I said that to Chris. And probably about 2 months later, we had 2 offers. So it was messy. It wasn't pretty. The process was not beautiful at all, but we drummed up that interest ourselves and we stumbled through those conversations ourselves and we had 2 offers, which was really exciting. And that's like the dream of what you want.